represent North.
When we started, I asked whether you have awarded me. The Honorable Minister answered emphatically, no. Today is what, 21st of October. And I don't think we have up to 60 working, we don't have up to 60 working days for this year. If you calculate both the public holidays and all the time, we don't have to up to 60 working days. Now, but if be that as it may, let me even, as a follow-up to your answer, before I will conclude, because I know this is your field. If you defray the 14.1 billion that is being processed, assuming you have it today, the 14.1 billion means you will have about 19.7 or 9.7, sorry, left from your proposed budget. My question is, did you take cognizance of that? Because that means that there are projects that you are going to, you have proposed in your 2020 budget that will suffer. Did you roll them over? That's the point I'm asking. Did you roll them over for the 2020, in the 2020 budget? Honorable Minister, why we're asking this question is because you know, with the greatest respect, that but for two of you standing here, sitting down here, we will not have taken you on this budget today because we needed to study this budget since Thursday and be able to come for this meeting. But we're just doing it because of our relationship. So most of these things, we are going to go back to read them to understand it. Did you roll them over, taking into cognizance? That's where I'm going to.
Yes. What we did was to ensure that within the envelope given to us, 60% belongs to rollover projects. We just said 60% of it must go to already outstanding projects. So if the 14 billion is released now, we will have probably maybe 7 billion or 8 billion outstanding. And so that will be covered by the 60% of the current envelope. That's what we did. So whatever was left is what we tried to touch different communities. You know, we have 9 communities, and that comes to the question of my brother Siki was discussing. If you just take the whole balance of maybe 6 or 7 billion and put it in one state, it means you have neglected the other 8 states for the whole of the year. So that's why we are before you. You know, it's like you have the yam, you have the knife, and I know that when you look at it, realizing the plethora of problems in the Niger Delta region, that definitely you are going to do something about it. And one of the key things we must do, which is the core mandate of the ministry, is also to ensure the security of lives and properties in Niger Delta, in other words, peace. And we cannot attain peace unless we stop youth-led business. And so we have plans to ensure training and retraining of youth. We are also looking ahead that amnesty in the region cannot last forever. So we can be perpetuity. The ministry is also trying to target integrated farming with training the youth, particularly our graduates, and thereafter we give them startup grants to enable them to stand on their own so that they can graduate from amnesty into useful venture and into entrepreneurship. So it's a very small envelope and it's not enough, and we will be appealing to the chairman to see whatever he can do. But we are taking cognizance of what you have asked. 60% of it is reserved for old projects which we have rolled over. So that if this amount that we are speaking now comes out between now and December, we will still have a small balance left, and that we have rolled over for 2020. So the envelope that will now be left, part of the envelope that we left now, will now come to this new project. Mr. Chairman, the amount of requests from the Niger Delta region is such that the money is believe that if they did not consult and they depended mostly on the request from various communities, they couldn't even meet the request from various communities. We are before you. Our colleagues, senators from the Niger Delta are here. So as we look at this budget, if there are various communities, if there are things to reject, we shall be very glad to do so. But one thing is very certain, because the envelope is where it is now, even if we were to think of doing major roads in Niger Delta, pointed out that the totality cannot be even 10 kilometers because of our terrain. So if this were to even cover the needs of the various communities that approach, I believe that even the senators will be very happy if they are implemented. But the difficulty arises where we note that as at now that we are talking, we have not received 1 naira on capital projects, so that even if there was consultation without capital release, the consultation will still be on paper. So we do take note of what you are saying. I assure you, we will not repeat it.
Honorable Minister, and after some time, you sit on that side. Because I have your documents when you were here, when you enumerated all the projects and you almost fought me for not including all of them in the Ministry of Niger. Honorable Minister, so
I thought Mr. Chairman said we should restrict ourselves. We should restrict ourselves to this document before you go outside this my presentation. Then I'll go outside to answer you. And I don't want to do so.
What is important in Delta? And you cannot tell Delta what is, I cannot not tell the minister what is important in our Bible. And so other members, because when people hear that maybe a project that we included here, the final comes in and it's not included, they will not understand. You cannot tell me what is important. And you can also not stop a project in some communities because you want to start a new project. But that's what I can see here. I know about 10 projects here that I know of that are not in this budget. I know about 10 that you have omitted in this budget. And which means, if anybody not does anything, so the people will say passing or no passing, they will not understand that we are only trying to save. If you have started a project and the project is stalled, and then you start another project, that one gets stalled again. Because you want to satisfy one person or the other. That's why we're asking the question. That's the reason for this question. So that when somebody sees that, that this project was started maybe in Ondo, and you come into this place, it's no longer in here, and they have started the project. What happened? However, I have some new friends, some colleagues who just came in.
On that project. I don't know what we can do with 6 million to do 1 kilometer road in. And the other one, I have another 4 kilometer road along the expressway in Niger Delta State. We are putting 64 million for 4 kilometer road. Then also, Abaribe 43, another day. You also have page 37. The construction of 2 kilometer road, 16 million. Then you are also providing integrated water scheme for the whole community for 1.4 million naira. I don't know how you can construct a water integrated scheme for a community at 1.4 million naira. The other one is the funding construction of community hall in the university, town hall in the university, which would be like a lecture center. You are putting then the other one is construction. But it's also that one is your construction of the community hall in the university or town hall. So I just put in 35 million. And some places I see construction of classroom 35 million. So how do you differentiate between a classroom and a town hall? So Mr. Chairman, the way I look at this budget for 2020, I don't know whether the common minister has been consulted for this project. Because I'm sure when we have two senators in this team, I don't think they can agree with this kind of budget. So I propose that the budget should be reviewed and then presented to this committee as soon as possible. I think that's my advice. Thank you, sir.
So we say take a bow and go. But this is a more serious matter that you should listen to us so we can make input. No, I want to say something right as what you said. Distinguished. This budget of 1 million naira, 10 million naira, 9 million naira, 300,000 naira, it looks like a chopping budget, not a work budget. Our common minister, if I would advise you, I think you should reject this budget and do something worthy to be remembered in history. The budget style that you have now is not different from the one you made last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And that's been the problem. This type of budget doesn't produce anything visible for people. I wish Minister of Niger Delta will look at the problem of the people of the Niger Delta and take some key major projects, concentrate on it, and do it well for people. So you don't start sounding like NDDC. Because one of the worst establishments I've seen is NDDC. And it allows room for funny activities because of the way it's set up. This budget looks like NDDC budget. So you, a person who wants to make them with your minister of state, why don't you take the major roads or major rail or something and begin to fund it and give Niger Delta something for you to be remembered, nothing like great jobs. But they're going to do, you have left what you're doing to go to university to do their home. The same university and Ministry of Education might be built the same home. NDDC might be built more home. And different people. The problem with the Niger Delta project, when federal government is doing a particular work, I mean a particular innovation, NDDC is doing it, the university is doing it, education is doing the same thing. So I think someone like you is bigger than this one. Would you recommend you to be a minister to go and do innovation of borehole or 1 million? My friend. My people can
My colleagues have said, this is a common budget. When a budget is designed to fail, it's uncommon. Let me address the director that prepared the budget. I know that you are aware that under the appropriation act, you cannot remove an item in appropriation in the next appropriation if you are you aware of that? Please go to page 11 and then number 116. And I would like you, once you look at it, show me where it is in the 2020. Because I've been looking at the 2020 budget and I've not come across it, which means it was removed or dropped, which is why the chairman said that he had up to 10 projects that were in the 2019 budget and had disappeared. So assuming that some work had been done as part of that in 2019,
And some of these things stretch from 2017, 2018, coming into, because I know that this one stretches from that. So, what happens? So, Mr. Chairman, can I suggest that this uncommon budget be taken back and reworked by the ministry, taking into consideration all these our items that were pointed out now, and then we give them another date to come back, to come and defend this budget.
I want to make an appeal that we make do with what we have. And if there is any project that was captured in 2018, 2017 that is not here and has not been completed, we definitely must look into it and resubmit it. But however, the question of taking it to go and rework, it will not change. We had a bilateral meeting with the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and the envelope for this ministry is very tight. Just the envelope for the ministry is tight, just 23 billion. And out of that, we have outstanding. So where Senator Gaya noted that you have 16 million, 20 million, those are outstanding IPCs for those projects. So what we did was to recapture most of the things that were already there 2018, 2019. Some will be designed, cost for design, cost for clearing of the push and all that. That's why you can see 6 million and all that, and those things will be paid for. So those ones are already outstanding IPCs. It will be very difficult in a budget where we are devoting 60% to already outstanding or already ongoing projects. And then what is left is 40%. And if you have a budget of 23 billion and 60% goes into already ongoing projects, what you would have started with 40% will not be up to 7 billion. And so you have a region of 9 states. So if you have 6 billion to spread to 9 states, and you want to take on a legacy project like gold, in the Niger Delta, a terrain of 1 kilometer of road, not the same thing as in Abuja, because of the drought, because of the water and the situation. So we need to accept the fact that what is before us is not only paltry, and we do not achieve much for the region. That is why we are appealing to the distinguished chairman and members of the committee to look into slight upliftment or increase of the budget of the Niger Delta, considering the plethora of problems of the region.
Minister, please, let me point out that why are you putting new projects?
No,
when you have
based on the circular.
The
circular was that of the budget goes into only existing projects, and at least, and then we can capture, and then we can capture new intention for the people with 40%.
It's not new intention. These are new projects. And
these are new projects. But I'm saying that if you go and put in all the outstanding projects of 2017, 2018, it means there will not be a single new project. So we are not thinking that we cannot foreclose. We can't foreclose anything that my brother, the distinguished senator, may suggest. Because we are hoping that the situation of the budget will improve in the future, where the oil benchmark maybe will be reviewed, or where there will be increase in funds. Whereas today we are working under a very tight envelope. And as a result of that, that's why you can see a project being repeated with zero allocation, because since there is no money, there is no need to start it at all. Otherwise, it will be like what he said, a budget that is designed to fail. So let us at least use what we have to pay the outstanding. And like I said, well, you were not yet. For 2019, we have not received 1 naira yet on capital projects. Yes, there has not been 1 naira released. So we are not making excuses, because I believe that the Ministry of Budget and national planning must be working on something. And then, so as the chairman observed, that even the outstandings are up to 21 billion. But we also said we are hoping that at least 11 to 14 billion will be released between now and December to enable us to pay outstanding IPCs and all that. And that is why the 21 billion we hope will be reduced. Otherwise, even the 23 billion would have outshot the 21 billion, and what will be left for next year will be 1.something billion. And this 1.something billion is left for 9 states. You can be sure that you can only just look for one primary school and go borehole.
I've been the chairman of this committee, and I have done oversight function. And the playing of this ministry is abandoned projects. Later, all over the United States. I went down with the former minister. I went down with the Minister of State. There is no state. In fact, I'm able dare to say there's no local government where there is no abandoned project. In the Niger Delta, the Ministry of Niger Delta. We cannot continue like that. We can't. We can't continue like that. You start a project, even if the first minister of Niger Delta of the Urubebe town is an abandoned project. The minister, who was the minister in Urubebe, there's an abandoned project in that town. Now, if you go around the whole of Niger Delta, abandoned project, and we are talking of new project, which, according to minority leader, designed to fail. We are not doing our duties as legislators and representatives of the people. We are not, definitely not doing our duties. And especially when you put in this project, without maybe if you have consulted extensively. Maybe I will tell you, finish the project in my senatorial district or in my state instead of embarking on new one. That would have done, maybe that would have even been, I would say, go and finish them. And let us see, let us go and commission a place. I don't think there's any project completed by Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs that the President has commissioned. We're talking of Ministry of Niger Delta. There's no project that the President has commissioned. So what am I trying to say? When the NDDC will come and defend their budget, we will handle them and we will take care of that. There is no project. Will we continue like that? There used to be a staff of this ministry who used to liaise with us, the National Assembly, where we look at the budget, look at the old outstanding project and see how do we complete it. This one, you just take this one and stamp on our face, and projects are abandoned and you're living everywhere, and then you want us to do new projects and tell us 50%. What of those ones that are big issue have left? Honorable Minister, we will need to look at this budget again with you, and we expect you to do your clean up, because if the documents we needed were not supplied to us. So we will continue with the defense. Let me finish. They have asked me to do. We will continue with the defense on Monday. We will continue with the defense of this Ministry of Niger Delta budget on Monday. Let's finish with the Honorable Minister. We're finished. Smith, your colleagues are here. Are they here? Come on,
That's all question, sir. How do you feel
about the rejection of the budget?
Oh, the budget was not rejected. It was the senators feel that there ought to be completion of major projects that are already in the Niger Delta. I agree with them, but unfortunately, we are working under a very tight envelope. And the ministry was allocated a sum of about 23 billion, and that sum, 60% of it will go to already existing projects in the region, and so 40% will go to probably new projects in the region, new demands. So if you look at it very well, it's not possible for you to capture all projects with that amount, and it's not going to be possible to even complete even 10 kilometers of road in the region. So I think instead of saying that the budget was rejected, I think that the distinguished senators should collectively make an appeal to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to improve upon the envelope and to expand it a little so it can capture and at least substantially most of the yearnings and aspirations of the good people of Niger Delta, and taking cognizance of already outstanding projects that were conceptualized since 2016, 2015, 2017, 2018, which are yet to be paid for. And again, there is nothing we could have done about the budget based on the fact that we are yet to receive even 1 naira for the capital project for 2019. That is still being processed in the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. And we have explained to them that yes, indeed, that once the capital release is made, will form part of the budget. But until then, we had no option than to roll them over into the 2020 budget. And so they've given us till Monday. We will go and work with the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to see whether it's possible to have capital release for this year. I think that's basically the
Minister,
case.
but you have said that nothing else can be.
Also note that if we are to capture all the projects that our colleagues ask us to capture, we will be allocating very paltry amount of money to all the projects. And at the end of the day, it will not make sense, it will not favor anybody, and it will be a budget designed to fail, like one of the senators said. So if we have 300 projects, and you have money that can capture only 150, why put everything there and allocate small amount of money that will not make any difference at the end of the day? So we had chosen very carefully, based on need, based on good spread and so on and so forth, those projects that we have allocated money, and basing it on 60%, like the
40% for the project.
No, 60% rollover, and then 40% for new demands that our people have asked for.
What special are you going to do about Niger Delta, having seen the problems that are in there now?
Well, I don't think the federal government alone can fund the entirety of the problems of the Niger Delta. That is why in the Ogoni cleanup, we have outside the IOCs like Shell making contributions. Other international partners are going to come in because that is in billions of dollars, and that exercise has actually commenced. And then we also handled a lot of remediation works as a result of oil pollution and exploitation over the years that have destroyed the ecosystem and also destroyed the landmass. And so it's not going to be possible for federal government to channel all resources into Niger Delta alone. The terrain is almost impossible and difficult, and the area needs real infrastructural development. So maybe things like the Sukuk funds and other international organized funds that are coming into Nigeria may need to be partly channeled into the Niger Delta region. And then we also need to reposition the NDDC, which was supposed to be the major interventionist agency in the Niger Delta region, not just the ministry. You have to distinguish between NDDC and the ministry. What we are discussing about now is the Ministry of Niger Delta, not the NDDC. And so the NDDC on its own has almost 12,000 abandoned projects. So we are advertised today for us to have a forensic audit done, not just of project but also of finances. So right from 2001 when it commenced operation to this 2019. The intention here is that we'll now be looking at those that could be completed, those that could be meshed, those that contracts could be terminated, those that could be suspended. And so it's not a function of carrying all these things on the paper and at the end nothing is actually achieved. The intention of Mr. President is to ensure that we have completed projects in Niger Delta commissioned for the use of the people. And things are happening on a daily basis. People are talking about water hygiene now. If you go and look at the waters of the Niger Delta, the creeks, some of them, there is not, the ecosystem, is almost, the aquatic life is almost destroyed because the water hygiene is a total invasion. You look at it, sometimes you wouldn't even know it's a sea. You will think it is a forest. And the result of it is that oxygen is not going down, and the fishes are dying, and the movement of even children going to school in canoes and boats have become almost impossible. So that on its own will cost billions and billions, and it's not something that can be handled alone by the NDDC. We'll need international partners in that direction. And of course, the flooding that has occurred, the embankments have failed in many instances, the channelization program and all that, those are things that are major and key. In some instances, bridges have collapsed. I saw one where at the Lebele in Delta, in Bayelsa, where a trailer was about to pass a bridge. Together with the trailer, they all went down. So it's the problems of the region are many. But I assure you that our job now that we are oversighting, not just oversighting, supervising the NDDC, is to ensure that we leave legacy projects behind, and then we refocus it so that they can meet at least the aspirations of the people. If it is in healthcare, we should have major health institutions, and most especially now, both the Ministry of Niger Delta and the NDDC must plan for what we call post-amnesty. In other words, we must have a post-amnesty initiative, since amnesty cannot last forever. It cannot be in perpetuity. So Mr. President's intention is that this forensic audit will throw up a lot of issues, may even result in recovery. And also those who are genuinely being owed will also have the opportunity to receive succor of getting back their funds. And then whatever we recover from there, we'll re-inject into the system to make sure that projects are completed and even new ones are initiated for the benefit of the people. But one thing you can be certain is that things can no longer be the same. Things must change for the better. I share the sentiments of the senators that we should go and put all the projects ever initiated in the Ministry of Niger Delta from inception. But they have not also asked us, where are we going to get the funds to put all the projects? So go back and rework it. Put all the projects. One of the senators said 10 projects from his state are missing. So go and put those 10 projects. And the senator has not taken cognizance of the fact that he will not also give us 10 bags of money to add to what we have. So it's a catch-22 situation. Yes, indeed. We will come back on Monday to see the distinguished senators, and we will go back to the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning to appeal that because the senators want a lot of projects from their regions, from their states, inside the Ministry of Niger Delta, we also need money to be able to match up their demands. But as of today, somebody is saying, what will you do differently? There is nothing we can do differently. If you see where we have 12 million, that 12 million means there is an outstanding IPC of 12 million. It's not as if we are going to spend 12 million to do a project of 1 billion naira. The reality is that we must settle with the person who is being owed 12 million or 16 million. So it's a difficult budget and very tight as it is now. And of course, you know, the federal government must take cognizance of the 36 states and the FCC and the other security issues like Boko Haram, like militancy in terms of amnesty, IPOP, and all sorts of things. So it's not easy. But for me, I was very, I wasn't just, I was amused, I was impressed that the senators want development in their areas and they would like me to go and work out something in an uncommon way. I don't know whether you can assist me to get uncommon funds to meet, to meet the uncommon demands, but we will try our best. We'll try our best. We'll come back. If there's any change, you will see. If there's no change, it means there is really nothing we can do.
Thank you, sir.